This is the Reds POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Cincinnati Reds. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Woo! Good evening, Reds fans, and welcome to another edition of the POSTCAST, brought to you by Locked On Reds and the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Tim Daniel. I'm a lifelong Reds fan. I want to thank you for spending some time with me as we discuss the Cincinnati Reds doubleheader today with a very bad loss and a very exciting win. On today's show, we're going to start the show by just diving real quick into game one of the day. We're not going to spend too much time on it because it's not very entertaining. We're going to talk about Chase Petty's big day today and his promising start, even with the Jordan Walker home run. We're talking about Nathaniel Lowe's big day as well, and we're going to discuss that hell of a game with that epic comeback today against the got my shows mixed up, against the St. Louis Cardinals. All that and a whole lot more, but let's go ahead and start here with our Locked On Player of the night.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Before we get into the brutality that was the first game of the day, just going to give a big shout out to Blake Dunn for basically winning this game for the Reds between his sliding catch that he had to keep St. Louis from scoring and then the game-winning single up the middle. So shout out to him. I can't wait to talk more about his day today. But let's just real quick talk about game one because it wasn't very fun. The Reds only have 2 hits. They lose 8-1. Chris Paddock shows you why he's Chris Paddock. I don't necessarily think he was bad. 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, 3 earned runs. And the bullpen did what the bullpen keeps doing. Jose Franco and Connor Phillips in between games get sent down to AAA. Okay, sure. Yeah. I think it's the right call for both those guys. Hopefully that means Franco's going to be stretched to being a starter, and then Nathaniel Lowe hit a home run. Okay. No one cares about that game anymore because we want to talk about the real fun one that was the second game of the night. The Cincinnati Reds have a huge win over the St. Louis Cardinals in game 2, 7-6 to advance to 27-25. But let's talk about some highlights of the day. And let's go ahead and start with Chase Petty because Chase Petty was this close to getting his first big league win. He left the game in the fifth after going into the 6th inning, and he looked like he was going to get a win. Jordan Walker hits a huge home run off of him. That was a tank. And then the bullpen does what the bullpen does. Okay. So as regards to Petty goes, I know he only had 1 strikeout tonight, but it was fine. I thought he was okay. I think his 2 starts he's had at the big league level. I know the ERA is 5.91. Have been really promising. I feel like he's kind of taken that step forward. I feel like he's getting better. Like, yeah, I would like to see his strikeouts get up. Yeah, I would like to see him not give up 3-run home runs to Jordan Walker, especially when he's got an 0-2 lead on the count. But I feel like it was fine. I feel like he did what he needed to do. Kelby says the same thing as I say. Petty did what he needed to do today. So want to give a shout out to Chase Petty on that. Let's talk about the bullpen tonight. Let's start with Brock Burke. Does have 2 walks in an inning and a third, but kept St. Louis from scoring again. Graham Ashcraft, ending in 2/3 with a hit and 3 strikeouts. What a bounce back for Graham Ashcraft. So awesome to see his talent levels can be able to be shown again. The thing about him is kind of, Steve and I have had this conversation a lot, and if you listen to Locked On Reds, Steve has mentioned this quite a few times in the sense that with him, it's kind of like, a lot of people are like, he should be the closer. He should be the closer. And Steve and I have kind of gotten this thing where we've kind of called him the guy who puts out the fires. And I think that's a great role for him. I feel like, just getting the most important outs of the game, I feel like is what he's kind of become. And so today, that was really big stretch there to kind of keep St. Louis off the board. The Reds have a chance to win the game there. And then, of course, Tony Santillan happens again. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they just pitched him too much last year and he's just kind of having the after effect now or what it is. But something has flipped with him in a bad way. You remember last year I'd come on here and be like, man, this guy's nails. He comes out and pitches every day. He's the winter soldier. We're not getting the winter soldier right now. We're getting, I don't know what we're getting. I don't have a Marvel reference at the moment, but not what they need to get. And then Pierce Johnson with 2 awesome innings. I feel like Pierce Johnson just kind of keeping it steady, doesn't give up any runs. This was just a really, really nice day for him. I really liked it. And this is where, if you're the Reds, you kind of feel good because, you got Caleb Ferguson back now, who is kind of the guy that you were really looking forward to getting back in your, for your team, and kind of getting back for your bullpen to kind of get things more stable. And I know people were looking at the rehab outings and they're like, Tim, he was not good in Louisville in his rehab outings. And you're right. The numbers are not promising. But what I can say is that he's going to be fine. It's going to take him getting us some time going. He had to go through rehab starts and he had a late start from spring training because of all the injuries, all that stuff. So, but I feel like the bullpen's kind of coming together. And so that's the part that's really solid. And I shouldn't say the bullpen's coming together. It's still really bad, but hopefully Caleb Ferguson can add some stability to it. And then you have him and Burke as two lefties that can go get outs. And then Graham Ashcraft's there as well. And maybe we can get that going. So we shall see. Let's flip to the fun side of things today too. I know Dave said it in the chat and I got to make sure I get to it. Elly De La Cruz tonight. Okay. I don't know where the speed went. He gets caught stealing. It was a bad jump. It was a good slide. I really feel like it was a really good slide, but his jump was not there. And John, Mr. Juan says there, Maul can get outs. They have three lefties that can get outs if Ferguson does what he needs to do. So that's pretty solid. Not many bullpens can say they have that. But the Elly slide was The double play was incredible. The home run, opposite field again. No, I don't have his Savant page in front of me, but can anyone tell me, are all of his has he had any pull home runs this year? I feel like majority of his home runs, regardless of the side of the plate, have been oppo. And it's been awesome. He's so good. And he just keeps doing this stuff and he keeps being this amazing talent. And hopefully we can get his speed back here pretty soon. Hopefully we can get him kind of getting steals again. I have no issue with them sending him. I thought it was the right move to send him there in the ninth to try to see if they can get a run in scoring position, but it didn't work out and you kind of move forward. William was kind of bringing up my next point I wanted to talk about. I thought Tito managed the second game really well. The fact that he was willing to pinch hit Steer and Myers so early in the game to give them both doubles. And I just love the fire that Dane Myers had after he got that RBI double to make it 6-4 when he's just fired up at second base. I love players that have that mood. I absolutely love that. So I thought Tito managed the game extremely well. I thought that Steer just continues to have this really nice year that is super underrated and under the radar. So today he goes, I know he only goes 1 for 3 in the second game, but he's been certainly solid. How about the play by Nathaniel Lowe in extra innings to get the play at the plate? How about P.J. Higgins knowing that you have to make a tag? Not pulling the old little league play and throwing it to the next bat play already. So that's nice to see as well. I thought the Reds just played a really good baseball game tonight. I felt like it was one of those nights where, you obviously leave the ballpark satisfied because they won. But it was one of those nights where they just played really good all-around baseball. And St. Louis did too. I thought it was a really good baseball game between two teams who really want to get wins in the division. The Reds, obviously, that's just their second win in the Central this year. That's weird to say. They have 27 wins on the year and only 2 are in their division. But I think that's I think what the Reds got today is one of those things where it's one of those wins where maybe it can get you going again. I want to go back to Elly real quick because 2 hits tonight, a homer, like I said, 3 runs batted in, a walk, and that awesome double play. 884 OPS, 288 batting average, and just killing it. Just the year he's having. This is the guy we read about all these years, right? This is the guy that everyone told us is going to be the star. So the Reds got that tonight. And I think if you're a Reds fan, you got to be really happy and you got to feel excited about this team. I really do one more thing. I do want to mention P.J. Higgins, 2 really big bunts as well. Were really solid. So I thought they got a really good day. The only thing I can really complain about this game besides Tony Santillan is TJ Friedl, that throw to the plate. Granted, it didn't matter, thank God, because they won the game. My guy, we got to get back doing some bicep curls. You feel me? We got to get back to that because that was an Andy Dalton throw. If you know what I'm saying there. But we're not going to harp too much on it because the Cincinnati Reds were winners tonight. And one of the big reasons today, not just in the first the win tonight, but in the loss earlier, Nathaniel Lowe was really awesome for the Reds today and gave them a big boost. So we're going to talk about Nathaniel's day and more right after this.
Hey, this is Jeff Carr from Locked On Reds, and when it comes to our futures, we all have great ideas when it comes to our job, when it comes to our house, when it comes to our vehicles, all that great stuff. But honestly, when it comes to securing that future, I don't know what I don't know. And when me and my wife sat down to figure out the life insurance thing, Ethos made everything simple. Everything's online, you have a quick and easy application process, and you find out exactly what you need for coverage all in one spot. Ethos makes everything so convenient when it comes to learning about your own life insurance, because insurance is something that is far beyond batting average or on-base percentage. It's way out in left field for me. Ethos made it all easy. Take just 10 minutes and get covered today with life insurance through Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/lockedonmlb. That's ethos.com/lockedonmlb. Application times may vary and rates may vary.
This episode is also brought to you by our friends over at Indeed. Workplace chaos, deadline stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed sponsored jobs help you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for: skills, experience, location, so you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. Here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates to check all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. And lastly, we are brought to you by Hims. ED is way more common than most guys think. Millions of guys deal with it at some point, and that's exactly why Hims offers a straightforward way to handle it. Hims connects you with licensed healthcare providers online, giving you access to legitimate ED treatment options from the comfort of your home. No awkward appointments, no pharmacy lines, just a straightforward process that makes it easier to take care of yourself. If treatment is right for you, it ships directly to your door in discreet packaging, which makes the whole experience feel private and stress-free. To get simple online access to personalized, affordable care for ED, hair loss, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/lockedonmlb. That's hims.com/lockedonmlb for your free online visit. hims.com/lockedonmlb. Prescription required. See website for details and important safety information. Sildenafil is the generic version of Viagra. Viagra is a registered trademark of Viatris Specialty LLC. Hims is not affiliated with or endorsed by Viatris. Want to give a quick shout out to our everydayers here on the postcast as we discuss a huge Cincinnati Reds win tonight over the St. Louis Cardinals 7-6. And maybe they lost the game earlier in the day. Whatever. You know what? We'll live with it, because now, as an everydayer, you can also make it official with a 7-day free trial at the Everydayer Club. It's $5 a month or $50 a year. After that, you get access to ad-free episodes of all your favorite Locked On shows, me here at Locked On Reds and also over at Locked On Cavs. We also have our Discord chat where you can go in there and talk all things Reds baseball with all of us. The Reds won in such a fun way today, in such a really fun baseball game, that I'm just astonished. I didn't even mention the fact that Sal Stewart had 3 walks tonight, people. 3. That dude's got some Joey Votto in him. He's like right-handed Joey Votto, right? There's just something about the way that he controls the strike zone. And I know he lost an ABS challenge tonight, but man, the guy who just works a strike zone like that, you just got to appreciate. And Nathaniel Lowe today hits 2 home runs between both games. And I feel like for him, we got to do a little bit of an X Factor.
It's time to reveal who made the biggest under-the-radar impact with today's X Factor.
Man, Nathaniel Lowe today hits the one homer, gets the Reds their 1 run in the earlier game, which didn't mean anything because they lost by 8. And then tonight, Elly goes deep, and Nathaniel Lowe goes deep in the same inning, at making a 5-run 5th. So you see the Reds just kind of stack up some W's there in that inning. It's just, The thing about this offense is we know that they kind of have a tendency, excuse me real quick, to kind of sputter, right? They have a tendency to get a little lack thereof. But tonight, to have that, you can see them have nights like this where they just put up point runs in bunches, and it can be in an inning, it can be across multiple innings, and it's just one of these things where this is just a night that they really, really needed to have. So really excited for this Reds win. Much more excited than they have to go close out this show and go talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers going down 0-3 to the New York Knicks. But I'm just going to stay here for a second with you guys and enjoy this a little more as we read the two finals from today's day. The Reds do split their doubleheader today with the St. Louis Cardinals, losing game 1, 8-1. The Cardinals have 8 runs on 12 hits, no errors. The Reds have 1 run, 2 hits, and an error in game 1. Andre Palante gets the win in game 1. He's 5-4 with a 3.76, and Chris Paddock gets the loss. He's 0-6. And the Reds go on to win game 2, 7-6. The Reds have 7 runs on 10 hits and no errors. The Cardinals have 6 runs on 9 hits, no errors. Pierce Johnson gets his second win of the year, and Riley O'Brien, the former Cincinnati Red, picks up his second loss of the season. He is now 3-2. And tomorrow the Reds have a chance to take the series against these old dirty Redbirds at 1:40 at GABP. We have Brady Singer taking the hill for the Reds. According to the app, I thought he was getting skipped. He's 2-4 with a 6.26. He'll be going against Matthew Liberatore, who is 2-2 with a 4.70. Everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun talking all things Reds tonight. What a fun win. What a night to be a Reds fan. I'm Tim Daniel. I will see you all tomorrow afternoon. Go Red Legs.